Hezbollah in deep crisis as Lebanon on verge of economic collapse. Jonathan Spire tells JNS, what is happening in Lebanon is what happens when a country allows itself to be taken over by a franchise of the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, with all the corruption and eventual collapse and impoverishment which follows. While Lebanon suffers from the worst economic crisis in its history, the Iranian proxy Hezbollah, which has such a heavy influence in the country, is doing everything it can to safeguard its interests during the turmoil. Still, it is in no position right now to provoke conflict with Israel, according to Israeli experts. The Lebanese pound hit a new record low on July 8, trading at 18,150 to the dollar on the black market, according to the Daily Star of Lebanon. It has lost more than 90% of its value since 2019. It is a deep crisis. Hezbollah is held by many Lebanese as responsible, and its supporters expect the organization to provide them help and support, something it cannot do, said Professor Eyal Zisser, vice-rector of Tel Aviv University, and the Yonah and Dina Ettinger Chair in Contemporary History of the Middle East. Prices in the country are skyrocketing, and salaries are dropping, forcing more than half the population into poverty. The situation is so bad that many cannot afford meat or chicken and have turned to a vegetarian diet, reported Reuters. According to top U.S. diplomat David Hale, who recently served as the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs and was sent by the U.S. State Department to the Wilson Center, the country faces immediate catastrophe. There's not going to be any international bailout, but there will be substantial assistance for a reform program, Hale told CNBC. Lebanon is a few days away from the social explosion, Lebanese Prime Minister Hassan Diab said last week. The Lebanese are facing this dark fate alone. Hezbollah is trying to appear to be solving the crisis even though it is part of the problem. On the energy crisis, which has led to long lines at gas stations and sparked protests across the country, there is strong opposition to Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah's suggestion to import fuel from Iran, according to a report by Memory. The Hezbollah leader's idea would also violate international sanctions. In a June 8 speech, he said that if the government did not handle the crisis, Hezbollah will go to Iran, negotiate with the Iranian government, and buy gasoline tankers and diesel tankers.